Hey everyone, welcome back to another Outriders video. Now in today's video, we are going to actually go over an extremely powerful damage build when it comes to the Trickster. There are a couple tier 3 mods that I would love to be able to have that would definitely make this build even that much more powerful. Not necessarily in the terms of doing more damage, but allowing my twisted rounds to always be triggered and on and active so that I can do a lot of damage. Now you guys will see here the ending of the last expedition that we did as a group, the three of us, and you can see I did an extremely ton of damage, and I honestly was able to do 100 and almost 85 million damage alone just by using twisted rounds. So twisted rounds is definitely the way that you guys need to go if you guys are going to be a trickster in any capacity whatsoever. So hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of the video, and if you guys do, make sure that you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. All right, that being said, we're going to go over everything. I know that my character, compared to what it looked like in the last video, is ultimately looks the same, but I actually did change out a couple of my armor pieces. However, the armor pieces that I know that are different are going to be my gloves, and my helmet is actually different, and also my upper armor is actually different, believe it or not. So even though it's actually all the same looking, which is kind of funny that I ended up getting the attributes that I wanted in order to actually get everything that I desired for the specific build. But anyway, let's go ahead and get out of the ending of the Colosseum expedition so you guys can actually see what cards we're actually using and mods and armor pieces. Let's go over that right now. All right, so as you guys can see on your screen here right now, we have the inventory up. I have not changed out technically my primary weapon, my secondary weapon, and or my sidearms. Those guys are all the same. I haven't even changed those out. So I'm currently using Fortress, which is obviously comes on the Death Shield right off the bat. I haven't broken this one down yet just because I love the Death Shield. I use it a majority of the time. And honestly, having Fortress on this one, 43% damage based on your armor. At 50,000 armor, then you're pretty much getting the full max capacity, and that's up to 43% damage. Now, obviously, I do have Killing Spree attached to this one. I have not changed this whatsoever if you guys watched the last video. So killing shots increase damage by 25% for this weapon for 20 seconds. Bonus deteriorates within time, and then it can stack up to 3 times. So if I can get 3 kills pretty quickly, then I can actually get a 75% bonus to weapon damage when I am using Killing Spree. Now, if I only get 1, and then I'm only getting 25, and then it slowly backs down. Basically, it's roughly a percent per second, so it can actually dwindle and deteriorate rather quickly. So just keep that in mind. All right, now moving on over to my headpiece or my headgear. Same attributes that I definitely recommend that everybody has for a Trickster: bonus firepower, cooldown reduction, and close range damage. Bonus firepower obviously makes sense for a majority of builds. You want to do as much damage as you possibly can, pretty much as quick as possible. And then close range damage, as a Trickster, you're up close and personal a lot, probably using some kind of shotgun. And obviously in this case we're using the Death Shield, but I would highly recommend the Funeral Fry. If you guys don't have that, then you guys can actually hopefully get one quickly. Otherwise, there's one that has a decent stats on it, which you can buy from Tiago if you want a good legendary shotgun for your build. So we got Twisted Fate. Twisted rounds receive 30% more critical damage bonus when the skill is active. So as long as I have twisted rounds up and available, you guys, I will receive, and you will receive 30% more critical damage bonus when it's active. So as long as it's active all the time, then when you get a critical shot, you're just improving your damage capacity. Now, there is one shot in this one. I don't know if it's the highest that I've ever had, but it was almost a 5 million critical shot, and it was towards the very end of the expedition. So definitely pay attention to that. And it's amazing what I can actually do using twisted rounds. Sharp Eye, this one really hasn't changed. Killing enemies while aiming down sights will grant me an additional 16,000 firepower for 20 seconds. It can stack up to 3 times. So as long as I'm getting that Killing Spree, I can also get the Sharp Eye as well. And I believe there is another mod that I'm using where, well, there's mitigation from death on my upper armor. So killing enemies while aiming down sights, and that's a 3-time bonus, but it gives me an additional almost 150,000 armor for 10 seconds. So that basically makes me very tanky. So when I'm getting into the middle of fights, I can actually stay, at least for the most part, relatively healed and have a decent amount of armor, especially if I'm consistently and constantly killing enemies up close and personal while aiming down the sights. Radiation jump, so every time I use a hunt the prey, you guys can see, if you guys look at the stats, I use hunt the prey a lot. Same with my vendor's knife. Almost as soon as it comes available, I'm using it again because I get that bonus from my class tree, which means that I can get an additional 35% for 8 seconds, and both my vendor's knife and also my hunt the prey are being reactivated within 8 seconds, which is absolutely insane. Now moving on to the lower armor, so the pants, I am using the lower chrono suit, which is a legendary piece. I've gotten this one like 6 times. It is absolutely ridiculous, but this one allows me to at least maintain my twisted rounds for the most part. While the skill is active, I can get a killing shot, replenishes 20% of my ammo. The one that I really would like to get is one, I can't even remember the name of the armor, but as long as I use hunt the prey, I can actually fully resupply my magazine regardless of what it's currently at. So if I'm at 1 shot left, I can actually just hunt the prey, get a full magazine back. That's the one that I want to be able to put on this build, because then I would have twisted rounds active 100% of the time, and I would never ever have to worry about them ever depleting unless it's between the stages of an expedition. So emergency stance, I highly recommend this one for pretty much any build regardless of where you're at. Emergency stance, obviously unless you're playing as a devastator, but attain golem for 4 seconds, and whenever your health drops below 30%, that thing has helped me out a lot. However, with mitigation from death, I'm actually using this one less and less, so I might try to replace emergency stance with a damage mod instead of a protective mod. And then the next one here, we have the Cannonball Gauntlets for the gloves. We're Captain Hunter, so it increases the damage against enemies of elites by 25%. So that's why I'm focusing on going after elites the majority of the time as long as I can, because I can inflict 25% more damage upon them. Personal space grants me 15% bonus to close range weapon damage. Now this is one that I will consider getting rid of if I can find a better mod, but we'll see what happens when the time comes. And then last but not least, we have the foot gear. Again, same attributes that I'm looking for. Now obviously this one has skills life leech and this one has healing received. I would prefer it to have the cooldown reduction, but at least they do have at least 2 out of the 3 that I'm looking for. I would love close range damage on this one, and then cooldown reduction on the armor. And then we got Stare in the Barrel, so boost my firepower by 10,000 for each enemy within close range. As long as I'm being bombarded by enemies or going into a fight that has a lot of enemies really close by, then I'm getting an additional 50,000 firepower pretty much right off the bat. And then Bloodlust, so killing shots increase my firepower by another 17,500. It can stack up to 3 times, and it deteriorates every 10 seconds. So not bad. I really love this build. You can see that I did a lot of damage with it. It's absolutely insane. I recommend that if you guys have access to these tier 3 mods and the Death Shield, that you definitely go ahead and check this build out. You will not be disappointed. And then as far as the class tree, this is it. I'll just leave it up here so you guys can go ahead and copy it. I'm not going to go over all of them. You guys have probably seen a majority of videos going over why they choose certain things, but you guys can just copy it. I feel like I do a lot of damage, especially up close and personal, and crit damage the best that I possibly can using the skill tree that I currently use. But the rest of the video will be gameplay. You guys already saw the end of the Coliseum expedition, so hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, make sure that you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. It would help me out a lot and is greatly appreciated. But until next time, YouTube, you guys keep doing what you're doing because you're already doing it, and you guys stay gaming.